Well, good afternoon and welcome to a special panel discussion on designing, building and operating a smart pavilion. We have a 1-hour live stream broadcast to look at this topic. I will be your moderator for the session, and my name is Richard Thompson. I am the editorial director of MEAD, the Middle East Economic Digest. It's a very important topic. Smart buildings are going to be shaping the way we live and work in the future. So please get your questions in using the questions tab at the bottom of the screen. Now, we're going to focus on the Finland Pavilion initially because the Finland Pavilion is bringing together lots of smart building technologies to showcase them during Dubai Expo 2020. And so we're just going to go through a few slides first, tell you a little bit about the Finland Pavilion and what's on show at the pavilion. So hopefully, Lara, if you can present the first of the slides. Excellent, thank you very much. So Finland Pavilion Expo 2020 Dubai, this is what it looks like. It's a very elegantly designed structure with wood paneling internally. If we can go to the next slide, please. So the picture on the right-hand side shows the facade of the Finland Pavilion. It's a very simplistic, elegant structure. It's designed to look like, or themed around, a tent that's covered in snow. And the reason for that is it's bringing together the Nordic Finland cultural experience with the Arabic Bedouin cultural experience. So you have this fusion of Arabic and Nordic. The overall plot size of the Finland Pavilion is 1,550 square meters. And if you bear with me for a second, we've lost our slides. I'll just get my slides on this other screen. And the gross building area of the pavilion is 924 square meters over 2 levels. Now, there are, as I mentioned, there are 2 levels at the pavilion. The ground floor level is the exhibition area, and in the exhibition area you'll be able to learn about the themes and the companies and the topics and technologies that Finland will be promoting at Expo. The theme for the exhibition at the Finland Pavilion is sharing future happiness, and it's got 3 elements to it. One is circular economy, one is digital innovation, and the third element is sustainable development. So absolutely in line with the overall Dubai Expo themes. The top floor, the first floor of the Finland Pavilion is a majlis area, a meeting area, and that has meeting rooms, conference rooms, and will be the location of lots and lots of activities over the 6-month period of the Expo. Now, the technology that is going to be used at the Finland Pavilion is going to come from the partner companies, many of whom we're going to be speaking with over the next hour. But the purpose of this model is to transform the Finland Pavilion from a standard building into a smart building or a smart pavilion, really to showcase what can be done in terms of creating a better environment and optimizing the cost and the performance of the building asset, and of course reducing carbon dioxide footprint emissions as well. So over the next hour we have a panel of smart building experts, all of whom are involved with the Finland Pavilion, providing various digital solutions that will be used to make sure the Finland Pavilion showcases the potential of smart buildings in the region's future cities. And I'd like now to introduce you to our panelists. So I think we're having problems with the presentation of slides, so I'm just going to read from another screen. So in no specific order, we have Visa Rauta, who is the design director and global head of design at KONE. We have Joni Lampinen, who's the chief marketing officer from iLOQ. Kimmo Mattila is the head of software and data business at Granlund. And Jana Suleiman is the director of the project management team at Halton. So that is your panel. Gentlemen, welcome. to this special panel. Thank you very much for your time today. I'm going to start, Hvac, by coming to you. So part of KONE, KONE is one of the world's biggest names in elevators and escalators, and part of your involvement at the pavilion is a smart elevator. I think this is really intriguing, but what is it? What's a smart elevator, and why are you showcasing it at the Finland Pavilion?
Thank you, Richard. The elevator we have in Finland Pavilion has a customized KONE DX Class digital experience car. The KONE DX Class is a digital platform for KONE elevator, and it makes it an integrated part of any smart building system. The KONE DX Class combines KONE's physical and digital features together, and through the built APIs, that is an abbreviation for application programming interfaces, it allows our partner solutions as well as third-party solutions to interact with the elevator. In this case, it's an integral part of the smart Finland Pavilion, where it acts as a gateway to the second floor, where all the partners of our pavilion can have their own events. And as a representative of KONE design, I'm excited about the user experience and the design of the car itself we have created. The design that actually won 2 Red Dot Product Design Awards in 2020 for its interior design and comprehensive connectivity. The reason why we are showcasing it at the Expo is that this is a great opportunity to show the visitors the future elevator and demonstrate what is it capable of. The KONE DX Class elevator represents KONE products now and in the future.
And so if I am a building owner or an architect and I'm specifying a smart building for an owner or an operator, what does a smart elevator give me? Why? What is it? Is it to do with energy consumption? Is it to do with faster access to different parts of the building? What are the benefits?
Okay, the experience in general. As said, the main route to the second floor, to the VIP or special events area, is through the KONE DX Class elevator. And first of all, the most important aspect is safety nowadays, the building safety and the safe operation of the elevator. And that is why we have voice command user interface that is completely touch-free and has really cool human-like response time. It means that it's really convenient and easy to use. The second aspect is that the pavilion and partner branding can be done through this digitally driven and emotionally engaging multisensorial experience that the elevator has. This is similar to smart office building that has multiple tenants in it, and in this case, of course, we have pavilion partners. When there's a special event for a partner, our solution is able to transform the building, the second floor visitor experience, to promote the look and feel of that specific brand. And it's only up to each partner how they would like to use it. And this is definitely something you will see in media later on. And finally, when you see it and feel it personally, you will understand how impactful it can be. So, and it also makes promoting these important topics easy, like we can promote sustainability as a company.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much, Hvac. Now, if anyone has any questions for Hvac about the pavilion, the smart elevator, or indeed about KONE generally, please use the question tab that you can see at the bottom of your screen and send the questions in. It would be great to try and bring in as many people from the audience into the conversation as possible. So thank you, Visa, for that. Now, I want to move on to Heikki Hiltunen, who's the Chief Executive Officer for... Sorry, we've had a change, haven't we? Joni Lampinen. I apologise, Joni. I was just reading from my screen there. Who is the Chief Marketing Officer from iLOQ. Thank you, Joni, for stepping in. Can you tell me a little bit about iLOQ's digital locking technology and how it's being used at the pavilion?
Yes, yes, thank you, Richard. And iLOQ is established in Finland almost 20 years ago, and it has been rebuilt the locking industry and access management. And the technology can be considered as a unique because there is no batteries in the systems or nor external power source. And so it's totally battery free and of course kind of sustainable and environmental friendly. So the technology in a way is that there is two options in a kind of a portfolio size of products. It's a key solution and the system will take its energy when you insert the key to lock cylinder. And if you have access rights, then the access will open. If you don't have access rights in the system which is managed by the software, then you are not able to basically get in. And then the mobile solution is working in a way that between the mobile phone and the lock cylinder, there is NFC technology, near field communication. So no batteries or external power sources are needed. And of course, kind of that type of technology, when it's managed by the software, it's a real time. There's device-to-device communication between keys and cylinders and other components, and the access rights are in a real time. And that's the way also kind of how to maintain the highest level of security. If keys or kind of access gets lost, it's easy to block away from the system and kind of the security remains in a high level all the time. Of course, this unique technology without any batteries saves lots of cost and like life cycle cost, no battery changes, no labor cost related to that, no traffic or time to be spent for maintaining or changing batteries as an example. And we consider that this digital and technology used by iLOQ is kind of increasing the value of buildings and different facilities. And like I said, device, of course, communication is making quite smart and real time when all the components are kind of speaking to each other at the same time. One of the good thing with the technology and the iLOQ system is also that you can do integration with the other third-party solutions like home automation and reservation system. And iLOQ is also one of the partner of KONE's ecosystem, and there is a cooperation between iLOQ locking system and KONE elevator, for example, using...
So I was going to ask you, Joni, exactly that question. So Visa was just talking about the smart elevator. So there is an integrated element between your security system and the elevator. Does that mean that the elevator, when I approach the elevator, it knows what floor I want to go to, and if I'm a tenant, for example?
No, for example, in the pavilion, the Finnish pavilion is managed by most of the doors which needs to be, or the access which needs to get locked. It's managed by the iLOQ system, both or otherwise in a key solution or then in a mobile solution. Okay. And there is integration made between KONE and iLOQ in the elevator, and people who are working for pavilion and they are using an iLOQ system. So when they show the key to the elevator, they have access to get to the second floor, which usually it's not for the visitors. and the elevator basically, my understanding is that goes automatically to third floor.
Can I just ask? So you've made, as a company, you've made the decision to promote iLOQ in the Middle East and at Expo. Now, why have you made that decision? Do you see a big opportunity in the Middle East? Is there something particular about the real estate sector or technology out here you think it's a good opportunity? And also, will you, at the pavilion, you've got the partnership with KONE and the other people involved in the pavilion. Is that something that extends beyond Expo? Like, do you work with KONE and other sort of partner companies generally, or is that just for the pavilion?
No, of course, we consider iLOQ is a European level business which is expanding step by step to the North America, Asia, and also Middle East side. We see big opportunities in Emirates, Middle East area, which is pretty much driven by the mechanical locking system and access control. And that is basically the business iLOQ is transforming for digital access management all the time. And we targeting approx 30% annual growth. So for us, we see a big business opportunity in that area, which is already quite fast phase moving away from the mechanical solution more in the digital side. Integrations we do more and more also in residential, commercial business, and I think we all know the of course the software IoT developments where this world is moving and connecting different technologies and systems together and offering added value for the end user and a better customer experience for the user itself. So yes, we see big opportunity for different type of integrations and cooperation for the going forward.
Well, Joni, thank you very much for those comments. Now, if anyone has questions about the iLOQ system or for Joni or for Visa, I know that we already have a question that's come in for Visa, which we will bring this to you once we've been through the panelists. But I want now to move on to Kimmo Mattila, who is the head of software and data business at Granlund. So Joni just now was speaking about integration of data systems and the overall digital management of buildings. So that's perfect a perfect moment to bring in Granlund. So Granlund's property management or property maintenance software is being used to reduce energy consumption at the pavilion. Just tell us a little bit how it does that. How do you reduce energy consumption?
Well, first of all, our software is, like you said, a kind of a computerized maintenance management system or facility or property management software. So basically what we do is that we kind of take a holistic view to the building itself, as a digital twin. We have done that for the Finland Pavilion, and we are monitoring the kind of and managing the maintenance processes and as energy consumption, and then also kind of indoor conditions and other data. And that's basically how it's a kind of holistic view, like I said, for the whole building, all the operations for it, and everything kind of affects to everything. So energy consumption is one of those, and one of the most important topics, both from the cost and also from the sustainability point of view, and also how the processes work, and meaning the maintenance, cleaning, all of that, and people flow management, as we know what KONE is, for example, doing, and then also at the indoor conditions management, and optimizing those, having a holistic view for all of that, and then having the energy consumption numbers attached to it. Then you can kind of start to optimize and make sure that the energy consumption is in the right level compared to the operations and the conditions that you want to run in the building.
And how do you integrate with, so Joni talked about iLOQ integrating with KONE's smart elevator, and presumably if they're using Granlund software for the whole building, it all has to feed into your platform.
Yeah.
Is that in the cloud, and the building is run from the cloud using the Granlund platform?
Yeah, like I mentioned, we have a digital twin of the building. So I consider digital twin basically the kind of a model, so to say, in the cloud, in the database. You have a model of the building, and then you also have a 3D visualization of it. But that's a kind of, in my opinion, a kind of a secondary thing. The main topic is that you have a digital model of the building running in the cloud, and then you can integrate different data to it. We are integrating with KONE, for example, related to their maintenance information related to it, so that we take that information as one element to the holistic view of the maintenance of the building as a whole. So that's one of the topics.
Sorry to interrupt. Where does the digital twin come from? Is that from the construction process? There's some BIM model.
BIM model, yes.
Handed over to Granlund, yeah. Yeah.
So Granlund is by the way, just for a short background, that a 60-year-old company with the history in the Hvac design. So and most of our business is still related to that in Northern Europe, and lately we have been doing this consultation, and then also this software and data business, and growing that a lot. And one of the things where we can combine this knowledge, to combine our software expertise and our kind of a substance matter expertise, is that these BIM models, where we take the model, both the architecture and also the HVAC systems models, from the design phase through the construction to the maintenance phase. And this is what we have done together with Business Finland in the Finland Pavilion, that we have taken the BIM model from the design phase, and we have turned that into this 3D visualization digital twin in our software. And then now we are integrating those different data streams to it. For example, the maintenance data from the KONE elevator, most probably, and then also the indoor conditions from sensors, from IoT sensors that are inserted to the pavilion. We're taking that information into our platform, and so we're able to visualize that on top of the digital twin.
Okay, fantastic. Well, thank you very much, Kimmo. Now, if anyone has questions for Kimmo or any of our other panelists, please send them in using the question tab at the bottom of the screen. I want now to move on to Janne Suominen, who is the director of the project management team at Halton. Now, hi, Janne. Thank you for your patience. Halton's air displacement HVAC system, so heating, ventilation and air conditioning system, is creating an optimal environment at the pavilion for any pavilion visitors. But in the Middle East, I know it's through the cooler winter period, but we have, in this part of the world, in Dubai, we have a lot of dust in the atmosphere. It gets very hot, there's a lot of humidity. It must be quite different to Finland. What are the challenges with providing a sort of optimal environment in this market?
Yeah, thank you for your question. First, I would like to introduce Halton with a couple of words. So Halton Group is enabling well-being indoors, that we provide solutions for safe and comfortable indoor environments which are energy efficient and comply with the sustainable principles. And we are actually more than 50 years old company with experience of enabling well-being in demanding indoor environments. And the impact of improved clean air delivery is critical as businesses create safe return to work strategy, as well as supporting safety of customers in restaurants, shops and public indoor spaces. When talking about the solution we provided to Pavilion, the space is pretty high and it's relatively large, as you could see from the pictures from the beginning. And at the same time, it's occupied with a lot of visitors. So we delivered a system called displacement into the space, and this means that we deliver fresh air at the low level of the space, and air will be extracted from the top. And system is creating two levels of conditions into the room. Lower level with good conditions, and upper level actually we don't really care because there's no people. We just create great conditions for the people occupying on the lower level, and that is the reason why the whole space is not conditioned. There's a huge cost savings available. At the same time, we are really providing comfortability of the people, and air is delivered with the low speed and will slowly raise up in the space. And this feature really saves an energy because about 30% less air is needed compared to the traditional overhead mixing system. And
if I can, why is that, Janne? 30% seems like an awful lot of saving.
Yep.
Why is there? Is that just basically because the current system is just overproducing and it's not sort of adjusting for what's going on in the building?
Yeah, we are, as I explained before, that we are we are creating two levels of the kind of condition in the space. One is on the lower level, which is really occupied and conditioned, and top of the building or of that space, it's not conditioned. So that's why compared to the traditional mixing system, the mixing system means that the air will be mixed in the whole space, and that's why the whole space will be conditioned. So that's why our system saves energy, because we are just focusing on the lower part. And we always say that the locations, just like Dubai, the outdoor air is really expensive to condition. It's hot and humid, so less air will actually save a lot of energy.
Does 30% less air equal 30% less energy, or is it not a direct? If you cut 30% of air, you save 50% of the energy. Is there a sort of exponential relationship?
Yes and no, but mainly you could say so. Of course, there are certain other factors as well related, but 30% less energy, it's as you mentioned, it's a huge difference.
Yeah. Okay, and I imagine for out here, and I guess all around the world, the reducing carbon footprint, reducing energy consumption is absolutely paramount. Do you envisage, or maybe you have already seen, a big increase in interest in smart environmental building systems? Is this a strong growth area right now?
Yeah, in fact, we can see a couple of different issues raising up. One is that what has been raised by COVID, there's a really high demand of the air cleaners for different kind of spaces. As you know, the air is actually main media to distribute COVID from human to human. So in the beginning of the project, when talking about the VIP spaces upstairs, we found out that since the displacement unit system is not ideal for that place because it's not high enough, we took the decision to deliver Halton air cleaner VCR for the space, which is really high volume air cleaner for the bigger spaces, equipped with the HEPA filters. and that air cleaner will take out more than 99% of the particles. But at the same time, our theme for this year and end of last year has been that we need to provide safe return back to the offices, and in most of the cases, what does it mean? It means in our world radical increase of ventilation rates, which is really a challenge in most of the buildings. So that's what we can see as a future possibility, that I suppose the new buildings from now on are designed with a bigger flexibility already from the beginning in terms of the air volumes.
Okay, Janne, thank you so much for those comments. I mean, it's such an important topic right now, because of COVID, as you just said, but also the need to save energy. So thank you for those comments. Now, if any of you have questions for Janne or any of the panelists, please send them in. I have a question here, Visa, for you. This relates to... Well, I'll just read the question. So it says, apart from the special calling option, do we have a media screen? Then it says Info 300 or Smart Material or any other design or DX solutions. So I'm not quite sure what some of that means, but basically, apart from the smart calling option, is there a media screen?
Yeah, I already tried to reply in the chat. Yes, the elevator has integrated screens, integrated audio system. It has the voice UI integrated and so on. So it's a completely customized elevator experience and design for that pavilion experience.
Okay, thank you. Now we have another question here whilst I'm going through the audience questions. I'm not sure who this question is specifically for, so maybe I will ask it of a couple of you. Maybe if I start, Kimmo, with you. How easy is it to replace one element with another one in the future if a sort of improved model comes up? So if you have a smart building and you have a Granlund property maintenance platform and you've got, KONE upgrades one of their elevators. Well, I guess if you go from KONE to KONE, it will be easy. But imagine you go for, you change something. Is that easy to do in a smart building, or is it more difficult?
Yeah, that has, of course, always been traditionally been the kind of the bottleneck or the hard part, probably. People tend to think that keeping the model up to date is the hardest part, and it's very difficult, and it's thereby also kind of very costly. The thing what we have done lately is that we have studied it a lot. We actually did an academic research even related to the topic, that what is a kind of a good enough model of the BIM model or the digital twin model for the maintenance use. So there's a kind of like a curve that where you reach a certain point that there's no point of kind of doing too good model after that anymore, because the maintenance of the model goes so it becomes so expensive. At the same time, what we have lately been doing, and we have invested a lot into this, that exactly to this point, that if the model actually changes and if you bring it again, it automatically is able to update the elements in the digital twin in our software. We are doing it a little bit like a semi-automatically, so we let the machine to do it, and then a human engineer will still kind of proofread it and okay it, and then we update the model, the elements in the digital twin model. And we're very happy with the results. That the first run we had, where we took an existing model, or the building was modeled in our software earlier, and then we took an updated BIM model, and our automation did that. I think it was a very big complex hospital building, actually, where we did that. It had something like 1,700 spaces, if I remember correctly, and we got immediately like a kind of a 95% accuracy rate, so that the machine was able to map the the new model to the existing model there and update the new spaces, delete the old ones, and so on. So yeah, I think that it has been difficult, and it still is if it's done with the too complex models and with the too complex process. But like I said, we have at least invested to it a lot to make it semi-automatic, like I said.
And if on the BIM model, so at Mead we write a lot and we talk a lot about the construction industry in the Middle East, and BIM, it's becoming established, but it's taken time to become established. And in certain markets like Dubai and the UAE, it is more established. But in other markets in the region, BIM and other digital technologies are still not, basic things are quite advanced. So what do you do if there is no BIM model that's handed over to you from the constructors? Do you have to build it from scratch and go and survey the building and build your own virtual twin?
Well, there are two options. First one is to go with the very traditional way, which is kind of like probably like 80% of the market still, and the 80% or more than 80% of the existing portfolios that you just create the building and or the property and the building and possibly the spaces, floors and spaces under it, and then the technical systems, basically almost manually.
Okay.
Just to kind of get going, to get the kind of the property under a maintenance plan, and into the software, and then it starts to live its kind of a digital life. The other option is, which we are currently heavily kind of promoting for our customers, that it doesn't matter if you don't have a BIM model, that we can again semi-automatically take even from a kind of a 2D drawings from floor plans, turn those into a digital twin or a BIM model, kind of a not BIM model but a 3D model into our software, and create the spaces and create the elements based on that. And at the same time, we can take, for example, the technical asset tree of the building, that the technical systems and subsystems and the devices, even in a kind of an Excel sheet. And we know that, for example, in the Middle East, there is a lot of the buildings or a lot of the customers that we talk to have their assets described in an Excel sheet in the COBie format, in a standard. And so that's, we are able to take that into our, basically just with the Excel import into our system, and then uplift it to the digital twin world via that. So that goes back to what I just did earlier, that it's it doesn't need to be the BIM, the kind of a fine-grained, detailed BIM model when you take it to this kind of a maintenance model, because that's actually way too complex to maintain in the future. So good enough model is good enough.
Good enough is good enough. Okay, excellent. Thank you, Kimmo. Now, I want to come to you, Joni, to talk about the digital locking system. There's a number of points that you mentioned that I thought were interesting. The first one you mentioned was about the energy levels. You said that your digital lock doesn't need a battery, or it doesn't need to be charged. Because in my mind, I'm worried that if I use a digital locking system and I lose power, then I'm locked out of my building. How does it stay charged? Is it kinetic energy from walking, or?
No, like I said, the key solution, like when you insert the key in the cylinder, it from the movement, when you're inserting the key, it will take the power to open the system if you have access rights in the system. So basically you have the power all the time, as well as long as you insert the key. And of course then the mobile solution, it's if the mobile is working, it's using the NFC technology. And addition to this, of course, you might use RFID tags and the PIN code for the door or wall readers also, kind of. So you don't need to be worried about it.
Okay. And we've had a question for you, Joni. So the questioner is asking about, at the Finland Pavilion, we're talking about smart buildings and iLOQ systems, but do you see digital locking systems being adopted beyond residential buildings?
No, I see that the residential buildings in general, it's going more and more in the digital side, and it's more and more it's getting kind of that the building owners are asking and requesting different way of whether it's a mobile key using the key RFID PIN code, so you have all different open or closing mechanism used in a way. And we as we see it in what's happening in the business and the many markets is that the mechanical solutions there will be less and less those. And like I said, one of the big positive with the digital solution is that you can do the integration in with the other systems to be as a main system, or many times the locking systems are so-called subsystems. And then of course that will create a totally different value for the building owner or facility itself, but also for the users, and whether it's a tenant or flat owners or operators.
Okay, thank you. Now, Jana, you talked earlier about the energy efficiency of the Halton system and the smart HVAC system, and you also talked about COVID and some of the as people return to work, the kind of concerns about ensuring a safe workplace. I'm curious to know how you see the HVAC market changing in the coming years. We have these new requirements from COVID. We have mental health and workplace well-being. These are much bigger issues than they were in the past. The building environment, internal environment, is now a very hot topic. So how do you see the market changing? And I guess that ties in with issues like cybersecurity as well.
Yeah, definitely. Yes, in our business and in our world, the comfortability is of course the number one. And as it was as a question there, that was that energy saving major issue designing the pavilion. I would say that our kind of main focus was to focus on the comfortability, and at the same time we were able to do that in a way that we are saving the energy, and same way applies in my opinion the future buildings, that we need to provide more air. That's what actually has been traditionally used in offices or something like that. Just to as a part of the safe return to the offices, we can provide safety of the system. But beauty with this displacement is that we are really focusing and locating the air into the space where the people are, and rest of the room is not occupied, because it doesn't have to be. So in that way we can say that we were increasing the air where the people are, but decreasing a lot air where the people are not. And as a good reference for that kind of space is, for example, the airport. Closest one to Dubai, the Abu Dhabi airport, we delivered a couple of years back, and it's benefiting from the same issue now, that we need to really take care of the comfortability, but for example in terms of the COVID, we need to design the systems in a way that air will clean the space and take care of the.
Presumably, Jana, that comfortability is, it's monitored by sensors. So a big part of your systems are having sensors around a space or a building to monitor movement and temperature and things like that. So is the kind of the future of HVAC, is it in that data side of the business? They're having sensors that collect data and then the analytics built into the system.
Yeah, definitely, and this is pretty much visual in for example, in Granlund's system, what they are having in the pavilion. There is a certain amount of sensors everywhere in a building showing, and then using those sensors, we are able to describe pretty well what is the condition, and we are always talking about in our business the CO2 levels, temperatures, and those are created by certain air volumes, certain temperature of the air. So this is pretty visual.
That's an interesting point, isn't it? So Halton will have its sensor requirements or data requirements. KONE will have its sensors. Joni will have his at iLOQ, and all the other. Who owns the sensors and who's responsible for all that data? Is it all the individual parts, and then it goes to Granlund or the building management system, or does the building management system, is it responsible for the sensors? Maybe Kimmo, if I ask you that question, who does all the data collection?
Well, that's a tricky question. Data ownership is always a tricky question. But how I see it is that there are different systems, and they of course have their own specialties and own details around there. And the guys here are the companies who provide that are of course the experts on that matter, and of course it's then their responsibility and their expertise to provide that data available for the customer. And what our customers, our joint customers, is the kind of what they want, and what we provide to them is to collect all that data together from parts that we provide, and then from parts that that the partners provide. And then there's also two different levels on the kind of a data, in a sense that we typically provide, for example, our software to the building or the property owner, and provide, for example, BI reporting for the management of that, the property management or financial management of that company, that our customer. Then again, what Halton might have, data, very specifically to the HVAC systems and the conditions in there, might be a lot more interesting data for the maintenance personnel in the facility management company, actually, who the owner has attached to it or assigned to that task. So it's a different level also, that who provides the data and for whom it's actually provided. So it's an ecosystem. It's a very, very interesting, and ultimately, of course, how I see it and how we approach it is that the customer actually owns the data in the end, But meaning the building owner.
That's quite an important point. Obviously, the building owner is the one that defines everything. And I wanted to ask Visa about that. So KONE is producing this real kind of state-of-the-art smart hardware, the elevators that go in the building, but presumably the owner has to put, if he's going to think about putting in this kind of high specification technology in his elevators, he has to have a building that's ready for it and the other systems. What do owners and operators need to think about when they're thinking about smart elevator selection or other types of technology? What are the sort of issues that they need to think about in their specifications?
Okay, of course, there's lots of technical things in a building, but apart from that, they should start from their users and what are the current and what are the possible future needs for the building users. And solutions around us in our daily life, such as electric cars, mobile phones, and so on, are setting expectations, everything around us. And high quality experience is expected from everything related to buildings as well, systems and including elevators, not only from our personal life, smart home solutions and belongings. And this technology allows multiple different ways to use it. At the same time, it can be set up completely independent, always up to date, and be very low maintenance, be independently evolving solution, or it can be utilized actively all the time. There's unlimited possibilities, this we think, and as many, there's buildings in the world, there's slightly different needs and setups. So that depends.
Okay, thank you. Now, I've got a couple more questions that have been submitted. Where is it? Kimo, this one is for you. Does the Brandlund software give equipment fault detection and diagnosis? So it's quite a specific technical question.
Not directly. I think because those type of sensors and that data is within the kind of equipment manufacturer typically to be able to provide. For example, or in the case of KONE, that we provide it if we get that data from KONE, from the elevator. So that's it. Like it's a little bit towards my answer to the previous question that there are so many different parts where we can or where we need to collect that data and who is able to provide that. So in a sense, yes, if the equipment gives us that fault signal, then we have it and can show it to the facility management or the property management via our software, yes. And then they, for example, automatically create a service request or for that.
Okay, thank you. Now, Jana, I have a question here. I think this one is for you. Do you use any innovative sensors to measure indoor air quality?
Yeah, there are certain factors in our industry, like how and all the countries are regulating as well, like amount of the air per person supplied for the building. It might, of course, vary from the comfortability issues, but anyway, like sensors calculating the amount of the occupants, it's pretty new innovation there. So that kind of sensors are popping up all the time. So we are, but basically the air volume, temperature, CO2, they are the ones we are often measuring. But how to calibrate it, how to take care that people are satisfied in the space. There are new set of sensors coming out.
Okay, thank you, Jana. Now we're into the last 5 minutes of our conversation, so thank you everybody who's sent in questions so far. If you do have any questions about smart buildings and how we can deliver them and manage them, please send in the questions now. It's a very important topic, and we've got a unique set of experts with us today, so you've got 5 minutes to get your questions in. Now, there's something at the back of my mind which I want to ask all of the panelists, and that's about cybersecurity. So, Joni, I want to start with you. So, iLOQ deals with digital security. Cybersecurity is a thing, or hacking is a thing. In a digital world, we just have to accept it's there. So, how secure and how do you ensure the security of your building when it's a digital locking system? I mean, can't that just be hacked?
No, in generally all the components they have this quite strong IAS 256 encryption first of all. Secondly, kind of all the lock when you're using the lock in a cylinder, it's using two-way communication. So that's once again kind of the high security and then. Devices, when you add to the system, you're using a programming token, and that kind of keeps that the only who owns the kind of the locking system have access to that. All access rights are up to date all the time and updating like real time. And if the key or access gets lost, then it will be blocked out straight away from the system to be able to keep and maintain the high kind of a security level. And we do, of course, kind of constant testing ourselves, but also asking external authorities to do and security, the business we are in. Also, iLOQ and the other suppliers, we need to meet the highest standard set by the security industry authorities. So, and all these approvals in the different markets and different countries. So, many times the security level is much higher than even in financial institutions.
Okay, thank you very much. I just want to, as a final question, I just want to ask the same question to Visa. So, well, actually, more generally, I'm interested, so if KONE, you provide smart hardware systems all around the world, elevators and escalators, and have you seen, is hacking a threat, and is cybersecurity a growing part of your sort of design considerations?
Yes, definitely, and that is taken very seriously at KONE. We have a big amount of people working on this topic, and this is definitely something we are not going to compromise. And this is a little bit related to what you asked before, that this is something that building owners and operators, they should consider if the building is future ready and choose the right technologies that they make sure that there's no threats in the future and they are ready to adapt the changing needs of the urban life.
Okay, excellent. Well, thank you very much, Visa, for that, and thank you very much to all four of you, to Janne, Joni, Visa, and Kimmo. That's been a very useful session to learn about the Finland Pavilion, but also I think to raise some of these very important thoughts about smart buildings generally. I think it's going to be an important sector in the future. And thank you to you, the audience, for sending in your questions. I'd like to direct you now, just following on from this panel and specifically from Kimmo's points about the building management software. The next session of today's conference is going to be looking at digitalizing property maintenance operations. So we're really going to get into the facilities management and the use case of property maintenance software. Now you can join us. It will start in about 5 minutes, this use case interview. If you look at the top of the screen that I'm pointing to now, you can see there is a tab that says schedule. And if you go onto that tab, you will see the schedule for today, and at 1:50 p.m. you'll say use case interview, digitalizing property maintenance operations. So if you click on that, go onto schedule and click on digitalizing property maintenance operations, and that will take you directly to the interview, which will follow on exactly from what we've just been talking about. So I do invite you all to join us. But thank you for your time just now. And gentlemen, thank you, all four of you, for your wonderful insights. And I wish you all the best for the Dubai Expo 2020 and the Finland Pavilion. See you soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.